it seems in the news as if there is a part of our humanity that is well aware of climate change and is working in many different ways to save the earth. And then there's another whole group of humanity that either doesn't care or doesn't believe it and doesn't want to do anything about it.
What you're seeing is indeed the two parts, the awakened ones and the fearful ones, moving further and further apart. And you, on a personal level, you experience it in your life as reduction of fear and increasing of awareness. That is how it is experienced on a very, very personal level. However, when you zoom out, then you have a group of people that increasingly chooses awareness over fear and love as a way of living. And you have the other group of people that are more and more and more consumed by their fear. And the more they are faced with a different way, the more it triggers reactions within themselves. And it is about a day-to-day choice and decisions. Now, there are those who are so far buried behind their fear, behind their false belief they need to control in order to be, that are what you would call lost causes at this time. It is not forever, as they will too join the one. But for now, from your perspective, yes, they are falling farther and farther behind into the wheel of fear and control. And what you are seeing is the gap widening between the ones who are choosing not to fall into fear and the ones who can't help it. And this causes wars on your planets. This causes many disagreement. And we will say all the ones who are consider themselves as awakening have a big challenge here and coming, as it is going to increase. Not only should you become more and more aware of your true nature and step into your power as you realize the power of your mind and your heart, you must also accept that other people are where they are. And one of the main challenges that you must face is accepting those parts of yourself as they are a part of your society, of your community. They are indeed parts of your very self. So you must learn to accept these parts of yourself without condemning them, without condemning them, seeing them as the hurt parts that they are, realizing they need more time, more love, more tenderness, despite the fact that on the surface, they seem to be acting out in aggression and in horrendous deeds. Indeed, these are all coming from fear and from a false sense of lack of options. So this gap, you may say, unfortunately, is going to increase and is increasing. However, just as what you would call the negative polarity is becoming more extreme to its end, where you are and the movement of awakening is increasing to its end. So it is not a lost cause. It is not getting worse, but rather a matter of perspective. It is similar to a rubber band that's getting farther and farther apart and eventually will snap. The only problem with this analogy is that this rubber band will not snap, as in break, allowing the two poles to drift away, but rather it will stretch and stretch and stretch until it can no longer maintain its position and things will come together. So yes, there is more to come, whether you are talking about earth calamities, it is going to increase quite dramatically. And also in terms of human behavior. However, remember that fear is not the answer. The answer is coming together as people and as community and as a society, realizing that we are all one. You are one with your earth. You are one with your fellow humans. And zooming out further, you are one with us and with all that is. So the more you keep that perspective as you go about your life, the more you are able to lead the way to love and enlightenment. And we know there is nothing that you want more than that.
But holding that tension with increased focus on all of the fear and negative actions that others are doing becomes increasingly harder and harder to hold that tension with the focus on providing those people with love and support until they turn around and come back the other way. So what
we want to take this opportunity and address something that you have mentioned. You have mentioned holding the space of love or holding that awareness while focusing on the people in fear. And we will say your focus should not be on the fear or the people in fear. You are aware of them. Yes, you must hold this awareness. However, your focus should be on integration and love, and not coming from the focus or intention on directing it towards those people, but the focus should be on the inward process of being able to hold a love frequency. So you do not need to watch the news about Ukraine and the war and then feel love. You can look in your life right now. In everybody's life, there are people who trigger, whether insecurities or challenges or judgment or whatever at all they trigger. These are the micro cycles that are the same as the macro cycles in your world. So in order for you to learn to hold the frequency of love, to hold the bigger picture while experiencing it all and allowing it all, starts with the smallest scale rather than the largest scale. So should you look at a person who is causing pain and war and try to feel love for them, you are kicking yourself in the foot. What you want to do is start small, start close to home, and from there it expands naturally. Does this make more sense?
Yes, that makes a lot more sense, and it makes it much more doable.
The focus should be always on your inner world. The inner, the closer to home, the more it is your pure choice of how to hold that space. This in turn will reverberate outward as each person becomes accountable for the frequency they are holding within themselves.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very helpful.